Hi guys, how are you all today? I hope you guys are good. I just want you guys to know on this channel, I try to stay away from political issues, things like the government COVID response or vaccines or anything like that. That's what I really want to be doing, right? But unfortunately, this situation has forced me into it. Um, to go and sort of address it because we can't be talking about tennis and make a tennis channel and not acknowledge that Djokovic is in immigration detention to try to play the Australian Open, right? So I just want to give you my thoughts, what I think about the issue, right? So there's a couple of things that I'm thinking, right? One is, right, I first felt Firstly, there are rules about people need to be vaccinated or have a medical exemption to enter Australia or play the Australian Open, right? Firstly, I think it's clear the virus spreads almost the same rate if people have had a vaccine or not. So, as far as affecting other people, I don't think it's that important. There might be like a 5% advantage to having the vaccine, but there's not much of an advantage to disqualify someone to say, there's a 5% less chance of spreading if you have a vaccine. So to say someone can't play in the Australian Open because of that, the laws don't make sense. Secondly, even if the vaccines do stop transmission quite a bit, right? You're outdoors while you're playing tennis and you're far from everyone. So you're not likely to have any impact on spreading the virus anyway, with or without a vaccine. So due to the fact that by playing tennis and being far from people, and in the state they're playing, you're allowed to play when there's no money involved, just the local club tennis, without having a vaccine, right? Because there's not much risk of spreading a virus when you're outside, far from everyone, right? So from that perspective, it doesn't make sense, and from the perspective that the virus is spreading through people who have the vaccine and don't. So, and then if anything, the vaccine is 5% better for spreading the virus. I'm not talking about does the vaccine save lives or death rate. It may well do that. But as far as you going to a place and you affecting other people, that's your own risk. So the issue here is by him coming to Australia, having a vaccine, is it making other people safe as far as stopping the virus spreading? The evidence says it's about the same whether you have the vaccine or not, or maybe if you have the vaccine, there's about a 5 to 10% better chance. So it's not really a bigger difference. And then the second thing, playing outdoors, right? Not being near anyone. So even if there is a difference for having the vaccine, you're not in a place where it's spreading much anyway. So the laws don't make sense. That's the first point, right? The second point, outside of all that, right? Even if the rules are stupid and people don't agree, then if they are there, as stupid as they may be, they must apply to everyone, right? So they tried to get Djokovic a medical exemption, which you need to have had like a huge response to a vaccine in the past to the point where you almost died. And it has to be from basically a response from ingredients from all the vaccines. Someone like Djokovic could never get that. So if that's what they're saying, whether the rules make sense or not, you need a vaccine, um, or you need an exemption that you would have to almost be in a wheelchair to get, right? In such you couldn't be number one in the world. Those rules should stand for everyone. Other players didn't get to come, so Djokovic shouldn't get special treatment in terms of that. So other players pulled out because they wouldn't have the vaccine. If that's the case, because they don't meet the rules, they have to miss out. Djokovic shouldn't be able to say, I don't want to have the vaccine, but me not having the vaccine is different to you. If you don't want to have the vaccine, you pull out. If I don't want to have the vaccine, the rules don't apply and I play anyway. No, it doesn't make sense. Whether the rules are stupid or not, I don't agree with the rules, but people should follow them and it should apply to equal. So if they want to remove the vaccine requirement, fine, everybody gets to play. If they want to keep it there, then everybody's complied. That's an argument whether you think it's needed or not. And that's not that important. But the point is, they were saying that if other players don't want to have the vaccine, the rules apply to them and they can't play, right? But then for Djokovic, somehow he cannot have the vaccine and go. And there was corruption, and he didn't qualify for that exemption. That's a fact. But the second part of it is if you're Djokovic and you don't want to have the vaccine, the rules say you do. You have a right to try for an exemption. Say, I won't have the vaccine no matter what. That's my stance. I think Djokovic is saying that, right? That's not me saying it. That's Djokovic saying it. So I'm going to see if there's another way to get in. So I'm going to apply for all these different things, see if it works. That's his right to do that. And the authorities in the tournament have a chance to apply or deny. But instead, they approved him and he got on the flight on the basis that he would get in and play the Australian Open. And then they've went to change their mind. So I disagree with that. I disagree with the fact that if you want to make a vaccine requirement or not, if the rules are good or stupid, but to go and say Djokovic cannot have a vaccine, while other players who don't want the vaccine have to pull out. No, either you remove the vaccine requirement and everyone who doesn't want it and wants it gets to play, or you have it there and everyone who doesn't have the vaccine misses out. But all people who don't want to have the vaccine, they should be all out or all in. That's all I'm saying. But this system had it where a whole lot of players didn't want to have the vaccine and they were out of the tournament and they had to give it up because of the rules. But then to say Djokovic has done what they did and not had the vaccine and he's above the law, so I was against that. But then the next thing is Djokovic is in his right to say it's his choice whether he wants the vaccine or not. So it's his choice to do it or not do it. So he can say, I won't have a vaccine no matter what, but now I know that I'm not having it. I'm going to apply and see if there's a way. It's up to him. He can apply for whatever he wants. So the government and the tennis tournament, it's their place to say, to either deny or let in, but to actually tell him before he gets on a flight the result of your application and if you can definitely come to Australia and play the Australian Open, or if you definitely won't and you'll just stay in your home. They need to tell him before he gets on a flight what's the result of whatever application he applied. And when they've given him a decision, stand by the decision, right? And say, that's our decision, you can come and play, or that's our decision, you can't come and play. But to say you can come and play and then you take a 24-hour flight and then to suddenly say we're changing our mind, that I'm against. Because you don't just tell someone they can come, let them get on a flight under false pretenses, and then say when you're going to be there, we're going to lock you up. You could have 24 hours there on a flight for nothing, 24 hours back for nothing, and then being locked up for all that time. When if you don't want to let the guy come, just answer the guy's application before he gets on the flight. Say you don't comply with the rules and he doesn't play in the story. But don't say yes and have him come on the flight for nothing, lock him up and then send him back for 24 hours. That's just playing games with people and that I'm against, right? It's your right to say he doesn't comply with the rules and say don't come. But don't tell him to come and then when he gets there say you can't come. I'm against so I'm for the rules being applied to everyone equally. Like I'm for all unvaccinated people who want to play. You've either got to let them all in or none in. And before it was like they wanted to say a whole lot of unvaccinated people. If you don't have the vaccine, you can't come. You've got to miss out the Australian Open. But if you're Djokovic, you get to come. That was the first ruling. So I'm against that. And then the second thing, you approve or deny people before they come. So whatever decision you make should stand. They have a right to say, I don't want to have the vaccine. They have a right to apply for a way to come. and you just say yes or no and stand by that. But to say yes and like play a game with them, have them being on a 24-hour flight just to lock them up and say your whole reason for getting on the flight and thinking you could come and play was based on a lie, and basically you've been tricked. And now you've got to um, be in detention center. People who say, "Oh, he didn't follow the rules, he deserves it." No, he applied to come. If he doesn't follow the rules, he gets told before he comes. That's how it's meant to work. But just to answer him and to say he can come and not tell him before he gets on a flight and let him just stay in his home, and then to say you have to have a 24-hour flight for nothing. You have to be locked up for all this time and then have a 24-hour flight back. You shouldn't put someone through that. You should tell them yes or no before they come. That's all that I'm saying. A lot of the problems here are with the Australian government, the Victorian government. The Victorian government has basically said, we have a vaccine mandate for people to work in that state where the Australian Open is. So they've went and said, we've given him exemption to those guidelines. So now the vaccine mandate for people to work in Victoria, where Melbourne is, he's now exempt from that mandate, so he can now play in our state. But then he's still got to get in the country. So the Australian federal government only clear people if you've had a vaccine or if you're medically exempt. And they're saying that medical exemption is not acceptable to enter. So a lot of the problems here is the state government of Victoria said yes, the federal government of Australia said no. But they really should have got together, said, can Djokovic come into the country and play the tournament? Yes or no? Give him a decision before he gets on. No, he doesn't come. Yes, he comes and plays. But not yes, you can come. 24-hour flight for nothing, detained for nothing, and then sent back on another 24-hour flight for nothing. They shouldn't have to go through. They should hear the news from their home and just stay at home and not come. So I'm really for that, but I'm also for whatever the rules are, good or stupid, there should be better rules. I'd rather that. I'd rather everybody could play. But whatever the rules are, either all the people who don't want to have the vaccine should come, or either none of them should come. It shouldn't be Djokovic has a better treatment than another person doesn't want it. If you're 500 in the world, you don't want the vaccine, and you're one in the world, you don't want it. If non-vaccinated players are banned, they should either be both there or they should be both in. So I just think it's a whole lot of stupidity, but it looks like Djokovic won't play. He's going to court for now. He's trying to fight it. I think he has a low chance, but I think it's possible. He wants to try every avenue since he's come all the way here. So he's going to do that. We'll find out the result. I'll give you a video later to let you know what's happened. But yeah, a lot of craziness, a lot of stupidity, a lot of try to treat Djokovic better because he's number one while other unvaccinated can't come. And then a lot of changing your mind. I think they also changed their mind when he got to the airport because the population of Australia are against it. So they said, the 24 hours you've been on the flight, while you've been on the flight since then, the population's been against the government. So the government wants to try to win back the support of the people. So then they've went and said, well, I can just change my mind then because I look bad for letting him in. If I proceed, I'm going to be unpopular with the people. So I want to regain popularity, right? So I'm going to let Djokovic in. I think that that's also played a role. There was too much backlash in the 24 hours that he traveled. They saw that they were wrong. They saw that they gave special treatment. They saw that everyone was angry. And if they proceeded of letting him in, the government would have lost public support. So I think they didn't want that. They saw the people are against them. They said, we haven't let him in the country yet, so there's still time to change our mind and say no at the airport and get back the support of the people. I think that's a role that's been involved in this too. But anyway, that's my say on the issue. Like I said, I'll do another video after the court case. I'm going to do another video to preview the tournaments that are going on. ATP Cup. I'm actually going to do that in around 20 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm going to preview the ATP Cup, the Melbourne 250, the Adelaide 250. But that's my video for today, for this video. And I'll give you the last installment, and we'll see if Djokovic wins in court and gets to play. So that's my video for today. Subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. Have a great day, night, wherever you are in the world. I've also got interviews with Federer and Nadal, maybe Djokovic after all this is over. But yeah, subscribe, bell notification, thumbs up. Have a great day, night, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.